Right, so the format for this session, I'm going to do a little song and dance thing. I'm going to explain to you a little bit about our accessories. After that's finished, we're going to do the traditional rock, paper, scissors contest. There's some folk here who've been practicing, they've been flexing their fingers, they've been getting their hands ready and so on. The winner of which will receive a $250 Amazon gift voucher. So it's better than a kick in the head. This hotel doesn't have any ice cream parlor, so we can't give away ice creams. It's been a bit thing, so it's just good old-fashioned hard currency. All right? So let's get going. Rob is handing out some torches as well that we brought. If you're an online user, then stick around. There'll be some incentives for you later on. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, so it gets harder and harder to do these sessions, mostly because I've used up all my good ideas. So I have to come up with new good ideas. And we don't want to do the same thing time after time. So this time I thought I would do a little bit of a bigger picture, a little bit of a view of who we are and what we do and how we can help you. So I've entitled this Alchemy, Turning Your Code into Gold. Now we all know what alchemy is, right? Or it's actually a whole bunch of different things. It's a whole philosophy of a certain period, but we remember it for people trying to turn lead into gold. Okay? And we picture it in our minds as wise men poring over their cauldrons, cooking up things, desperately trying to get that magic sauce that would turn lead into gold. And of course, we all understand and remember that this didn't work. It was complete failure. Never happened. So why have I called what we do alchemy when it's been a failure? Well, that's a good question. We'll come to that. Clarion set out to make us better programmers. Clarion set out to allow small and independent programmers, well, I suppose this is hindsight history. I don't know what Bruce had in mind at the time, but with hindsight history, set out and certainly attracted a group of people who were small companies, individual developers, wanting to create commercial level software. All right, wanting to create something that was the best in the business of the time. And we went from DOS, we went through Clarion for Windows, everyone remember that? And we ended up over here. And while it has done a fairly reasonable job, our contention, perhaps controversially, is that Clarion as it is right now, if the goal is to make us completely productive and generate commercial quality software, the Clarion box is inadequate. It's a point of view. It's not a point of view that everyone might share. And perhaps with good reason, which I'll mention later. So we've succeeded where Newton failed. All right? We've looked to turn code into gold. Our goal is to make you, back the way it was in the original days, commercially successful programmers, making commercial best-of-breed programs. Okay? There's an interesting fact, though. Perhaps something not considered by the alchemists of their day. But turning lead into gold does not make lead as valuable as gold. It makes gold as valuable as lead. And I know this to be true because it's happened. That's the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. And right at the top of that monument is a tiny little capstone. It's about 8 inches high. That's that little piece on top there, about 8 inches high. It weighs about 2.8 kilos, about 100 ounces. It's very small. And it's made of aluminum, or what the civilized world calls aluminium. Right? When it was made, it was the largest cast aluminum product ever made. And the reason why such a small thing weighing around 100 ounces was so unique was because aluminum was really expensive. In around about 1820, to give you a frame of reference, in about 1820, gold was roughly $20 an ounce. Silver was roughly $1.20, $1.30 an ounce. Aluminum was $5.60 an ounce, or about 5 times as valuable as silver. Roll forward to 1884 when they're building the Washington Monument. They have improved the process of extracting aluminum from rock. And around about that time, gold is still running at about $20 an ounce. Silver is still running at about $1.20 an ounce there and thereabouts. And aluminum is just a little bit more expensive than silver. It's about $1.30 an ounce. All right? 2 years later, oh, there he is putting that gives the scale of that little point. Right? It looks kind of big there, but in fact it's just that little piece on the top above the line. Funny little side note, the guy who made the thing quoted like $85 to make it when it was going to take about $140 worth of aluminum to make. So when he finally produced it, he gave them a bill for about $250, even though the quote was for $85. This may well be the first instance of software kind of over time, over budget, poorly quoted because the quote didn't cover the cost of material, never mind the work, all right? But be that as it may. Could they have kept, our alchemists, going back to our alchemists, could they have kept this a secret? If they had succeeded, it may have given one particular nation state a strategic advantage. They could have turned their lead into gold, and they had more gold than anyone else. All right? Well, the alchemist who succeeded, he probably couldn't have kept it a secret from his king, because his king had toys like this. All right? So could one kingdom have kept it secret from everyone else? Well, to summarize 500 years of slightly complicated history in a single word, it seems unlikely. All right? It seems unlikely. So really, if they had succeeded, they would have failed. It's a bit of a bummer, really, because a lot of people dedicated their lives to turning lead into gold. Why am I telling you all of this? This is a very good question. I'm glad you asked. Well, the upshot of this is, please do not buy anything that I am selling today. I don't want you to buy it because you will devalue the work of your fellow programmers, the guys who already have these tools. You will devalue what they are having. That will lead to financial ruin, possibly the end of the world as we know it. Okay? And I certainly don't want to be the cause of that. Now, I grant you that this is a good advice for everyone except perhaps you. You're thinking, this might be okay. If no one else buys it, I'll get an edge up. Maybe you're this guy. You've got it all together. You program everything by hand. You are sorted out. Your motto is, if it's not in the box, I ain't using it. That's fantastic. Well done. Okay? All our Clarion products were made by the stuff that's in the Clarion box. That's an important point. If I say the Clarion box is inadequate, I've used that box to create this stuff. Right? And you could too. All it takes is 25 years of hard work. It's not so bad. Maybe you're this guy, though. Maybe you haven't got it all together. Maybe what you could use is a little bit of help. And I'm here to tell you, we can help you. CapeSoft accessories make you more productive. They allow you to get more stuff done, make better programs. That's our goal. Why do we write these tools? We don't actually write them for you. That's kind of the untold secret that no one mentions. We write these tools for ourselves. We write these tools because we want to be that small company with a small number of developers creating commercial level software that's absolutely the best in the business of our market space. We only ever got into selling these things by accident because we went to a user group meeting and we showed off what we were doing like everyone was doing. And then people would say things like, okay, I want to buy that code. And it was like, that's not quite what we had in mind here. But the stuff we were building for ourselves turned out other people wanted. And this is way back in the DOS days. I dated myself there by saying we had a user group meeting. You know, like we physically got together and drank coffee. And yeah, those were the days, I tell you. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Bruce, I've heard this all before. But my program is complete. By which I mean, I've been working on this thing for 25 years. You're going to come along and tell me I need to replace my report designer, or I need to replace my database engine, or things like that. And that's, not going to happen. So let's talk about a few things that you can put into your program in, let's say, half an hour. Okay? Things that your program could use and without kind of re-architecting these things. How many guys have got programs that are over 15 years old in terms of development time? It's the vast majority of us, okay? Tools like any font and makeover, all right? They drop into your application in no time at all. If you're still using the MS Sans Serif font, for any reason whatsoever, please stop. Okay, 1995 want their font back. Nothing dates your program like using an old font. I am way too lazy to be changing the font in a program. So we made this tool, which is applicable at runtime, to change the font. How many people have got any font? I mean, it's the vast majority of us, right? Because it's insane to do anything else. If you haven't got it, come talk to me. Works in hand-coded programs, works in generated programs, come talk to me. Makeover, funny enough, the one in the right is used in Makeover. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about the Makeover screenshots I showed like 20 years ago. They were good for that time, right? But fashions change and styles change. There are actually a whole bunch of subtle differences on the right that you don't even really notice. But the thing on the right is a better looking program than the thing on the left. And that's done exclusively with Makeover. I didn't change any properties on that window. Okay? The style is applied globally. If you haven't got Makeover in your program, I'm not saying it has to turn green or blue or purple. I'm saying you want to apply consistent properties through the whole application. Consistency is the core to beauty. What about speed? We've got a utility called Profiler. If you've got a report that takes 16 hours to run, okay, if you've got a process that takes forever to happen, it's amazing what you can do with just a little bit of profiling to find out where that time is going. I got a report down from 11 hours to 20 minutes. That's the difference between someone coming to work and starting the report and getting to see it tomorrow, as opposed to someone getting in, seeing the report, having a cup of coffee, checking if the report is right, and if it's not, generating it again. Okay? These things are done by profiling it. And look, how to profile, I've done webinars on it in the past. I can do more in the future. How to profile is a tactic. But the key is that if you know exactly where the time is going, with very small changes, you can make things faster. We have some tools that are optimized for speed. Most of our tools are not optimized for speed. There are many things you can optimize for. You can optimize for things like code readability. You can optimize for usefulness. You can optimize for elegance. But sometimes, and in some tools, we optimize for speed. Now, I'm not saying that speed is the only consideration in these tools, but it's an underlying driver of things. We actively make these ones go faster. String theory gets faster with just about every build. Some method will be tweaked, something will be optimized. Jeff Robinson does a huge amount of work just reviewing the code, going through it, making it a few clock cycles here, a few clock cycles quicker there. And this ultimately means my programs go faster without me doing any work. Okay, it means my network web servers go faster without me doing work. So these tools, if you build on top of these, your stuff ends up going faster and faster and faster. As we make it quicker, you just put those builds in and it goes quicker. JFiles 2 is about 60% faster than JFiles 1 and uses about 1/3 of the RAM. Okay, it's a major step forward in optimization. But while it's nice to have those kind of major steps, we also do lots and lots of little minor steps. Xfiles is incredibly fast. It was completely architected with the only goal was speed. The only goal was speed. It's not the easiest code to read. Optimized code very seldom is. But it is lightning fast, like properly fast. Run screen is a feature you can add to your program today. This is the strength of Clarion and templates. We can take a new feature, plug it into a very old application with very, very little work. What it's doing here is you can set all of your browsers, all of your list boxes, so that the user can control the order of the columns and whether the columns are visible or not. Now, when we put this in our program, we actually ended up adding a lot of columns to browsers and turning them off by default, so the user can turn them on if they want. It turns all of our browsers into a report when we use send to, because they can make it look the way they want, all the orders, and then use send to send it, use send to send it to a printer or an Excel spreadsheet or a PDF or something like that. This drops into an existing program really easily. Print previewer. Okay, here's a question. There are a few print previewers on the market, and all of them are good. If you're using one of those, that's fantastic. How many of us are using the print previewer that comes in the Clarion box? Don't be shy. Come on. Okay. All of you need to come past our desk and get Premiere. Seriously. Seriously. Okay? It is a huge upgrade you can make to your program with like 20 minutes worth of work. And it affects your users because they're the guys who pull the reports day in and day out, day in and day out. They use the previewer. Give them a previewer that's got functionality. Give them a previewer that can email stuff around, upload to cloud drives, generate PDF documents and things like that. Now, yes, that's using other tools, but it's the previewer that hooks all of that together. Come talk to me at least about this thing. If you're using one of the other previewers, that's great. Arnold's got a great one. Lee's got a fantastic one. That's not our target market. But if you're using the built-in Clarion one, please come talk to me. This is one of our oldest accessories, Insight Graphing. It goes all the way back to around about 2000. I believe I released it immediately after ETC 2000. It does all kinds of graphs. I'm not going to get into that now. Many of you have seen this before. There was a major update to Insight Graphing 2, which did away with the DLL, which is fantastic. So it's all CLW source code. And it's real cool. Why am I mentioning it? Well, Draw got an upgrade to Draw 4. And these are all gauges drawn in Clarion on a Clarion screen. Why am I mentioning it? Well, if you take your graphs and you take your gauges and you put them together with iDash, you get a dashboard. All programs should have a dashboard. It's kind of a thing, right? Marketing people love it. Customers, pretty keen on it as well, because you can put all those important metrics right there on the dashboard. They decide which metrics are important to them. You just create the metrics, the widgets rather. They decide which ones to use. They decide which ones to move up to their summary page. And they can look at all those numbers, and every business knows one true thing. If you don't measure it, you won't get better at it. All right? And the best way to see measurements in one view, dashboards. It's kind of a thing. If your program doesn't have a dashboard in it, come talk to us. It's really easy to add. Everyone knows NetTalk. Anyone not know NetTalk? No, I'm not going to ask you that. Everyone knows NetTalk. Everyone knows that NetTalk is the primary way to build a Clarion program out on the web. Okay? Completely scalable, secure, the whole bit. A lot more work for developers, as we saw in the training, but the end result is a much better program that puts the customer. So we believe in putting the customer first. We'll do the work so the customer doesn't have to. That's kind of the philosophy we work through in these things. The CIDC website is a NetTalk website. The Clarion Live website is a NetTalk website. That, by the way, is a browse, just in case you were wondering. Browsers are not just lines in a list box. Not even a little bit anymore. Browsers are just collections of data. That's a 6-line browse, for want of a better word. Completely responsive, work on any screen size. That's a NetTalk program. All right, that's the program you've got. If you go to app.cidc2019.com, you'll get that program. You can run it on your phone. It can turn that disconnected website into an APK, in other words, an Android install, or an IPA, which is an iOS install. And we saw a lot of this in the training. For those of you who weren't in the training, you might want to come chat to me about these things. But it's not just the web server, and it's not just NetTalk apps. We've also got, NetTalk Desktop, which I don't have a slide for. But okay, NetTalk Desktop can do things like maps. You must see what Don, where's he gone? You moved. You're trying to hide, aren't you? You must get Don to show you the NetTalk Desktop application. In other words, a normal ABC desktop application, which happens to have a map in it, and he happens to be tracking all their patrol cars live in real time on the map. All right? It's insane. Maybe you need to connect to Active Directory. Maybe you need to connect to cloud services like OneDrive or Google Docs or something like that. That's all in NetTalk Desktop. I was installing Clarion 11 on my machine, and so I whimsically decided to spend 20 minutes to actually measure what Clarion puts on the machine. And then I installed all our accessories, and then I measured it again. Okay? So if you install Clarion Enterprise Edition, Clarion 11 Enterprise Edition on your machine, in your libsource win folder, there's about 135,000 lines of code. I just counted everything. CLWs, inks, TRNs, equates, whatever. I then installed all the CapeSoft things. I went to accessory libsource, so a different folder. And there are 310,000 lines of code just in the CLWs and inks. There's actually some other stuff in there, TXAs, TXDs, and various bits and bobs, which makes it about 500,000 lines, but I felt that was an unfair comparison. So I just did the CLWs and inks, talking about 310,000 lines. That is all Clarion code. So the good news is you can build it too. All you need is 25 years of hard work. All right? It's a substantial investment. And why have we done it? Because along the way, we identified things we wanted to do in our commercial applications in order to make them best of the business that we in our space. All of these things have come because we needed it, not because we make our business on accessories. That's not what we do. Likewise, in the templates folder, there's 105,000 lines of template code. Look, lines of code doesn't mean a whole lot. All right, I'm not saying that is a great metric at the best of times, but it's a measurement. There's 105,000 lines of code. There's 140,000 lines in CapeSoft templates. If I had the slightest clue we were going to write this kind of volume of code, I would never start it. Duck farming does not sound so hard. All right? And you get a duck at the end of it. By the way, examples, as best I could find, Clarion ships about 109 solution files, is what I counted. And we ship 583 across the range. Again, I was just installing on my laptop, so it's a clean install of everything, just to give you an idea. I was going to start looking at pages of documentation, but it's just, life is too short. And it's too hard to measure anyway, because how do you measure pages in a help file and stuff? Suffice to say, we have our fair share of documentation. What am I saying? You need to come talk to us. We need to understand what you're doing. We need to understand where we may be able to help you. I can't stand up here and prescribe things. Well, I can some things, right? Like previews, please. But there are many things that's not going to fit every single person. Your needs are going to be different to my needs, they're going to be different to Carl's needs, they're going to be different to Merle's needs, and so on. We talk to you to find out what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what might best fit what you need right now. Okay? We can't do that if you don't come talk to us. Rob is here, Jeff is here, I'm here, we're here all week. Okay? Don't go home on Saturday thinking, oh, I should have spoken to the guys. You've invested a lot of time and money to come here. Now's the time to make that pay. All right? And we're here and we're willing to talk to you. By the way, it's time to address the elephant in the room. Okay? I mean, I know you're looking at me and you're thinking, he looks a little different to last time. I'm not sure what it is. Is it the shoes? Clearly it's not. Clearly it's the new fall range 2019 shirt. Okay? That is the thing that's different, right? It's the only thing that's different, clearly. Don't be jealous now. You too can have a fall 2019 shirt if you give us an order form while we're here. We've got a bucket full of them. They're different sizes. We didn't do Arnold's trick of asking everyone their size. So first come, first served. If you don't want to be wearing the small or the triple XL, you might want to come see us. So the first come, first served on the shirts front. As I said, we've been doing this for 25 years. We've built up a range of accessories, a whole kind of collection of them. And when we started, we built them like this. We built them like houses, right? They were kind of little accessories, each one unique, each one individual, and so on. And then we started saying, well, hang on. I think Centu was the first one where we said, hang on, if we take this thing and we plug in Office and we plug in NetTalk, we can start to make something that's bigger than just one thing. I'm not going to recode sending emails in Centu when NetTalk already does it. That kind of idea. And so we ended up with things like this, all right? Which things start to fit together. Things start to fit together. If you do it long enough, you end up with this, all right? If you look at this picture long enough, it becomes amazing. It's just insane. You start to ask yourself questions like, how on earth did they build it? It's brilliant. I love it. It's absolutely magnificent architecture, just because it's so unusual. That's sort of like our accessories today, though, isn't it? It kind of feels like there's some stuff at the bottom which is foundational, and we keep building on top of it. That's what happens. I've got X files to do XML. NetTalk needs XML. Other things need XML. They're all going to use X files. JFiles does JSON. String theory does string handling. I so wish I had written string theory. In fact, I wish I'd written it like day 1, 1994, and I blame Rick. Where's Rick? Where's Rick? Not here. I blame Rick because he took forever to publish the article on Clarion Mag, which ultimately became the genesis that became string theory. So we're going to have to take up words with Rick about that. I spend my life gutting code, all right, and throwing it away and replacing it with like one line of string theory code. It's insanely how productive it is, how much it reduces code. And as we reduce code, we write fewer bugs. And by the way, the code in string theory is way faster than the code that I have scattered all over the place. There's absolutely no reason to use the ASCII driver, BASIC driver, DOS driver ever again. String theory is faster than all of them. And much easier to manipulate the data. It's that simple. And you don't have to pollute your dictionary with file structures. And you don't have to pollute every memory with a record buffer. And so on and so on and so on. The biggest complaint I get, by a country mile, and I only half apologize for this. I half apologize for this. The biggest complaint is, if I buy this, I have to buy all those other things. Well, the good news is, if you have the core foundational underpinnings, then you don't have to buy them because you have them already, right? And the reality is that most of the products don't have a lot of dependencies. The core number of dependencies is very narrow. It's draw, string theory, win event, X files, J files. If you have those 5, you have pretty much most of what you need most of the time. We build together. We take one product, build on top of it, and so on. I stand on stage here because of the work people before me have done. We're all here together because of the work Bruce Barrington did 30 years ago. Right? We stand on the shoulders of giants, we move forward. That's the way it is. It's a picture of CIDC 2017. No, not actually. I thought I'd throw this in for gratuitousness. It is the 50th anniversary of Woodstock. Right? Last month, 50th anniversary of Woodstock. Who knew? They organized a concert for 40,000 people. Something like 400,000 people showed up. It rapidly went from being a tickets concert to a free concert because the people stole the fence. around this place. Good to know, though, that upstate New York has never wanted them back. Because what 400,000 people will do to your infrastructure is impressive. Anyway, congratulations to Woodstock 50th anniversary. I want to talk about a couple things specifically. Premiere. These are the more recent things that you may have heard of, but maybe not. And if you're still using the built-in previewer, then you presumably have not heard of this, because there's no way you think that's a good idea to be doing that. He said confidently, use Premiere, you've got a print previewer, you can send your reports everywhere. You've got cloud drive integration, so Microsoft OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive. It's completely automatable, meaning you have all this functionality in there, turning reports into PDF with an engine, sending it to Excel with an engine, all those kind of things, and you can automate that. You don't even have to show the preview window to the person. You can just take a report, save it as a PDF, save it as Excel, email it to someone, print it to the printer, and keep going. All right? You can do all of that. It's both a previewer and a kind of a what to do with the report after we've made it. iDash is a collection using Draw and Insight. Those are optional. You don't have to have gauges. You don't have to have graphs, but they do look pretty good on the dashboard. And you can have dashboards in your application. If you don't have a dashboard, you really want to come see us. We want to talk about that. We want to see how that can improve your application. We're so committed to this that there's a special bundle offer. It's $567 for iDash, Draw 4, and Insight 2 all together. And that is a proper saving. Proper saving. There's another bundle as well, which I'll get to in a minute, apparently. String Theory 3, which you kind of have to have anyway, because everything requires string theory, and as time goes by, it's all going to require string theory 3. NetTalk already does. JFiles 2 already does, and that's because we use the functions that are in it. With string theory, we make builds all the time. There were a couple hundred builds, literally, of string theory 1, and they happen on an almost bi-weekly basis. Methods get added, code gets optimized. It's a foundational thing that we're using all the time. I don't add code to my program. If I've got string handling to do and I can't figure out how to do it, I add that code to do it into string theory, so it's there forever, for all time. That's how it grows. The only way to know what it can do is actually to go look at the documentation. It can do some real funky stuff. String theory 3, faster, stronger, better. It's like an Olympic athlete. It's got string format and string deformat classes, and it supports extended string pictures. So like Mark was asking about a hex string picture, it's in there. Unfortunately, I can't put it in TopScan for you, Mark, which is a bummer, but there you go. We support Unix timestamps. We support hundredths of a second in a picture. We support pictures greater than 24 hours. All of this in strings. We can't do, so you can put a string on your report and format it like this, right? You can't take a date like a long field on a report and use the picture in the formatter. You understand what I'm saying? But you can use these strings, you can use these pictures everywhere. Both format and deformat. Deformat is particularly powerful. For example, when you're deformatting time, it's unambiguous, it figures out the time. I don't care what you typed in, it'll deformat it. There's no like @ picture symbol for time. Because you write a time down, I can convert it to Clarion format, so can the class. JFiles 2, as I said earlier, is faster, uses less RAM than JFiles 1. It's got support for extended attributes, which is a wonderful thing. Extended attributes allow us to specify in our data structure things about the field which can then be reflected later by things like JFiles 2. I did a paper for this, it's on Clarion Hub. We did a webinar on this. If you haven't heard about this, come chat to me, we'll talk about it. Extended attributes, but it's really, really cool. It works in all versions of Clarion. I went all the way back to 8 testing, and apparently it would go back to about 5, version 5 or version 5.5 and so on. It's a fantastic way of taking reflection to the next level. If you don't know what reflection is, don't worry about it, but it makes things like JFiles 2 much, much, much simpler. For example, we can create nested documents from a view. In other words, we can create nested JSON structures from a view. So that if it's reading a secondary table, you get secondary nodes. If it's doing a lookup, you get a lookup node in your JSON. We've got a special upgrade pack. If you've got string theory 2, or well, what was just string theory really, JFiles, WinEvent for Draw. if you haven't upgraded your stuff, $229 buys you upgrades of all 4 of those, and that is like an insane amount off. So come see us if you haven't upgraded. We want to get you up to date. It's important because other stuff builds on top of this. Right? Like NetTalk is building on top of JFiles 2, is building on top of String Theory 3, and so on. There's my NetTalk 11 desktop slide. Desktop maps, Active Directory, cloud drives I've talked about. If you need to do OAuth authentication with your web client, it supports that, and so on. Really, really powerful. Server, I'm not going to dwell on this too long. Most of you were here Monday and Tuesday, but we build web services, web APIs. And if you don't familiar with that, you weren't here in the training, go ask someone who was. It is stunningly easy. I have many people who've come to me who've never built a web API before. It takes about 3 days. From not ever using NetTalk before to getting a web API up and deployed takes about 3 days. Okay? And most of that is just learning. Okay? Obviously go much faster now they've got training recordings to watch. Web server apps, that takes substantially longer to learn, but creates fantastic web applications, which many of you, Clarion Shop, CapeSoft, CIDC, Clarion Live, you're coming across NetTalk sites all the time. NetTalk 11 apps. So NetTalk has got 3 levels, right? Desktop, really cheap. Server, not so cheap. Apps, really expensive. Okay? Where's the marketing geniuses amongst us? This is the good way to do it. So it's expensive. NetTalk is our most expensive product. In fact, all 3 levels are what I would call expensive. And that's simply because of the functionality that's in them. I do more work on NetTalk than I do on any of the other accessories, period. And I have for about the last 13 years. There is a lot of code in there. There is a lot of things it can do. Way more time than we have time for. I talked about it for 2 days now recently, and I've scratched the surface. NetTalk apps allows you to use disconnected data, make the phone apps like what we're using here. You can find us online at www.capesoft.com. You can find us at support@capesoft.com. Most importantly, if you're here in the room, you can find us at the table for the next couple of days. And that's by far your best option. If you're watching us online, talk to us. Talk to us at one of these addresses and we can help you out. Okay? Our goal is to make your program be the best that it can be. That's our goal for you. All right? We want to turn your code into gold. Thank you very much. Now, two things I wanted to mention. In CIDC 2017, we did have the 3rd edition of the Developing Web Applications with NetTalk book. So if you weren't there and you are wanting to develop web applications, it's usually supplied as a PDF, but we had a few extra copies of these. So first come, first served. I think we've got 2 or 3 copies. Come past the table if you want to get it. They're $149, which is also cheaper than normal. That's like a 25% discount. Now, that said, I've got an Amazon gift voucher to give away. So this is how it's going to work. Close your laptops, get everything out the way. What you're going to do, you're in trouble, mate. Yeah, you're next to a reigning champion. Just like Mike. I mean, you might as well not bother Mike. Okay? Or the great upset, knock him out in the first round. Okay? We're going to play rock, paper, scissors. So you're going to stand up, find a buddy. You're going to play rock, paper, scissors together. All right? You don't have to go far, but just pair up. Okay, don't start until I say. Don't start until I say. And then basically what will happen is the losers will sit down, the winners will get together, and we'll progress until we're down to the final 8 or so. And then we'll come to the front and we'll do it here. All right? All right, are we all with me? Okay. Arise, O knights. Arise. Find a buddy. Get ready. Say hello to each other. Tommy, I feel like you're not paying attention. Yeah. Okay, don't do it yet, Gordon. Okay, Gordon. Gordon's practicing. All right. Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Does anyone not have a partner? If you don't have a partner, just come to the front quickly so we can pair you up. Don't take forever. All right, if you don't have a partner, come. All right. There we go. One here. Jim's here. All right, anyone else not have a partner? There's you two together. There you go. All right, Jim. Jeff will be your partner. Oh, wait, you've got Jay, come forward. Come on, guys, it's not so hard. Hey. Come on. All right, listen up. Okay, we don't want hesitation. So it's going to go like this. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. On 3, you show your hand. On 3, you show your hand without hesitation. I don't want to have to be excluding people now for hesitation. All right? We don't want to fight. We don't want to punch up. Are you guys going to stand up and play? Brad? Bill? Come on. You know you want to. There are no slackers in here. Okay. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. If you tie, stay standing if you tie. Okay, don't go anywhere. Okay. Okay, listen up. All right. Settle down, children. Settle down. Okay, if it was a tie, okay, we're going to do now one for the guys who tied. The guys who won, just chill. The guys who lost, sit down. The guys who tied, we're going to do it again. Are you ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Same as before. If you lost, sit down. If you won, just chill. No, don't find a new partner yet. We're not in the second round yet. We still got some ties. Okay? We're just doing for the ties. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Are you still tied? You're still tied? Okay. 1, 2, 3. And again. 1, 2, 3. And again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. Okay, everyone is still standing. Find a new partner. Arbor's out. Mike's out. The heroes have fallen. Hey, the heroes have fallen. Hey? All right, has everyone got a partner? If you haven't got a partner, quickly come to the front. Quickly come to the front if you haven't got a partner. There we go, Ted. Here we go. All right, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, you know the drill. If you lose, sit down. Did anyone tie? Have we got ties? We've got some ties. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Still tied? Anyone still tied? Over there. 1, 2, 3. Still tied? 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. How many we got left? Okay, guys, if you're still winning, come to the front, please. If you're still in the winning, still standing, come to the front. Okay, we are going to have a new champion. That much we do know. All right. Pair up. Okay. Who's missing? Who hasn't got someone? Wendy hasn't got someone? Anyone else doesn't have someone? Jeff. Come act as a stand-in for us here, please. You've got to beat Jeff, crush him out the way.
Or she could just pass to the next round.
No, there's no buys. There's no gimmies going on here. Then you'll all be standing around next round going, I don't want a partner. No, I know how it goes. All right, we're ready to go. 1, 2, 3. Tie, okay. We're ready again. 1, 2, 3. And again. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Who's left? Come to the front. I want to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's brilliant. I couldn't have planned it better. Right. Pair up. Pair up. Pair up. Everyone's good. They're all good. You just pick one of them. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Tied? 1, 2, 3. All right. Pair up. It's getting close now. This is not the hurdle you want to fall at. All right? And 1, 2, 3. 2 ties. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we keep going. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is, there you go. Okay. Now you really don't want to fall at this hurdle because there's no prize for second place. Okay? Are we ready? Are you psyched? Are you loose? Are you loose? You get those hands loose, right? You're thinking, you look in the eyes, look in her eyes. Think to yourself, where's she going? Is she going with the stone? Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Don't go away, don't go away. Let me come down.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. There you go. Well done. All right. Thanks, everyone, for staying. John, any housekeeping? No? No housekeeping? Okay. So tomorrow again, 8:30, we're starting up again. Don't be late. Don't be late. No. John, is there an early one tomorrow? Rick Martin's at 8. You want to be here by 8. Breakfast's only 7:30, so get in there, hammer that breakfast, and be in here by 8, okay? All right, we'll see you all again. Thanks, guys. Cheers.